Hey guys, hope you're doing well. This is Edward again. I wanted to record a quick video about a few topics on business side. Taking some time off, but wanted to use some of this time to actually record some insights, some feedback from my side, but based on what I have right now in my mind and some of my perspectives. So this is going to be valuable for you if you're basically in a job or a corporate job. Number one. Number two is also if you're self-employed and you're potentially running a very small freelancing business or consulting firm. This is what I have now. And there's going to be a lot of reminders also if you're a business owner and you're running a company and you want to scale the business and you want to get new ideas on how you can do that. Okay. So number one, we'll start with a type of person that is in a job setting or a corporate market or the job market, and you're trying to provide more value to your company. You're trying to optimize that value in a way that you're getting paid a lot more. And you're also able to build wealth in that company. Of course, it depends on what type of company you're with, right? Because I can't really give you advice based on everybody, but I can give you insights into how you can actually position yourself and become more valuable in my business. This is based on my personal experience. This is not based on some theory I read. This is what I actually done in companies. So essentially when I got into businesses, I started to work for them. What happened is I didn't only actually work in my department, in my business. I was always very curious about what the CEO does, what the management does, and what other departments do and how that's integrated with my department. The reason I was doing that is naturally I'm just more curious, and two is I knew that if I were able to bring in more insights and solutions into our departments, there's a possibility that number one is I would gain more trust, I would build more relationships with people, they're going to see me differently, and that positions you differently in the company. You might get to be more liked in the company, you might get more leverage in the company, you might get promoted quicker, you might even get equity in the business later on, or shares in the company that you're working in, and that actually builds up more wealth. The only way to actually really get wealthy when you're in an environment or in your corporate setting or job is you need to think about how can I get equity in that business somehow, either for your skills or for you building a team in that business that can automate some departments of that business. So think about it that way. If you're on the sales side, understand what marketing does. If you're on the marketing side, understand what the sales does. Or if you're on the sales, you can also understand how the finance works and how the operations work and how customer success works and how other departments work, because this is going to give you leverage within the business when you're working with CEO. Sometimes you can negotiate different things with a CEO, so you could get paid more, you can get equity in the business, you can do a partnership with them, you might get even bonuses, you might get flights in different countries and things like that. So use that to your advantage if you're in a business and you're kind of employed in that company. Sometimes you're in a bad business from the get-go and you're not going to be able to do that, but it's a bad fit from a culture perspective, so you're not going to be able to have much negotiation or say, even if you're providing that value. But you need to do your due diligence before you're getting into that business. You need to be able to ask the right questions when you're talking to somebody to be able to identify are they the right deal for you. So that's number one. So that's a little bit about that type of person that's in the corporate world. Now, if you're self-employed and you're kind of running a business, you maybe have clients that you got to service. Again, same thing. And every client you have is basically going to be depending on you to provide a specific key service to help solve a specific problem most of the time. And what you need to do is you need to become like a partner with them, meaning you're going to go in that business, but you're going to look at different lenses. You're not just going to look at sales. You're going to try to understand how they're creating content or how they're doing operations or how they're doing the finance side, so that you can become an asset that you're not easily replaceable with. So that's the key thing with that as well. Again, it's also based on curiosity and you putting in more time up front and them seeing that and them understanding that you're doing that. Again, you're gonna gain a lot more leverage. That's what I've done in the agency space. where I stuck with clients for a lot longer than most people. So for example, if there were an agency in my space, they were keeping a client for 3, 4, 5 months and then they were disappearing, they wouldn't want to work with that agency. On my side, they were working with me for 7, 10, 12 months. And it's because I was more curious about how they are running the business, not just how I'm generating leads for them. So I was able to provide a lot more assets and a lot more value to that customer. It's an important trade that you're gonna need to have when you're freelancing and when you're doing that. Also, a big part of this is gonna be your brand, right? How you're positioning yourself as a brand in the whole market. So that's a little bit about the self-employed people. Now, the third aspect that I wanted to cover is for business owners, for people who actually have businesses. So you probably have a lot more customers, you probably have a lot more employees that are taking care of a lot of those things. Now, the challenge is you need to actually remind the employees for them to become partners for your customers. Because now they're taking care of your customers. So if you're not gonna think basically like an owner of your clients' businesses, you're not gonna be able to deliver at that level. And you might be asking yourself, how do you motivate them? How do you push them to do some kind of service delivery like that? Well, you need to incentivize them appropriately and typically giving them different bonuses, equity in the business, where you're motivating based on also not your salaries, but based on results on top of your salaries. So that's how you can actually create not only employees of a business, but partners who will take care of your clients. So the more you take care of your employees that take care of your clients and you incentivize them and give them bonuses, that's how you can win. So those are the kind of 3 concepts I want to cover today. I've noticed that businesses that really implemented that, they have a slight advantage in the marketplace. So yeah, if you have more questions around all of these things, I could probably go a lot more in depth, but this is what I had in mind today and I wanted to share it with you. So let me know if you have any more questions. Thanks for watching. Take care.